Hit that one more time.
DJ GRAV. You gotta have some police sirens.
All right,
Damn.
guys.
Where'd you find that?
Welcome to episode 3 of NABEKIA. I am joined today with my dear friends Grav and Six. What's up, guys?
DJ GRAV.
Oh my dear Christ. So right before we started this podcast, we were in a deep conversation about everything, basically.
Yeah, pretty fucking much.
Oh my
Reality
god,
is
dude.
so.
So
Okay, but like, okay.
All right, let's start off with
Mhm.
just like a rundown. Right now, originally we were talking about like Six has a he had an ancestry test, and it was a 0.9% unknown, and we were like making jokes about what the unknown was, and then we just kind of spiraled into a deep conversation about the universe and shit like that. So we're gonna, I guess, start off on a astronomy note. We continue, Six.
What if you could consciously shift your conscious into a different universe? Like you go to sleep, like meditating type shit like that. Pick your intention, travel through the astral realm, and since time isn't linear, you can hop into a version of your younger self and be like, just wake up in that time, like in that universe.
How could you ever differentiate between that and lucid dreaming? Like, so many people now claim that they shift to universes and shit, but the steps that they take to quote unquote do it are the steps taken just to lucid dream.
I feel like there wouldn't really be proof because you would just do it type shit. You feel me?
Like, it just
like you would just wake up in that self, and then you wouldn't really like the reality that you came from. That wouldn't exist to you anymore, so it wouldn't really matter. It would just be like Fugazi, it's a Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy.
I feel like if that was true, like you really just removed your soul or consciousness from a body, we should definitely be seeing proof of that. Like, there should be niggas who are dead with no reason, just an empty shell. Like, we should definitely be able to see that.
NPCs, bro. They turn into fucking lizards, bro.
If there's no
hold on. Well, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So going back on we would be seeing just empty shells. Like, I fully believe in the spirit realm. We just, like, it's up to them whether they want to be seen or not.
I don't know about transferring in life. You know, like I don't see that as making sense completely to me. But I do believe that, like, you can see shit. Like, I've had a lot of dreams and I guess things that I would almost call like a premonition that actually helped me. Like, I've had a dream where my mom called me and she was crying about something, and then later that day I received some pretty fucking unfortunate news. I had a dream before I even met Six that I was just sitting backstage and at some concert, and there was rap music playing, and it sounded like someone I never met before. Then I met Six and I heard him play a song, and the voice sounded like I had in that dream. I feel like there's definitely something present, like, you feel me, like showing us things, but I don't think we can directly interact with it, at least in life.
No.
Like, after death, I think we for sure could. If we could, I don't think many people, if anyone, know how to do it.
I think it's just up to, like I was saying earlier, I think it's just up to the spirit itself or entity or whatever you want to call it to make its presence known and be like, okay, I want to like have a conversation. I want to like show myself. I want to interact with this person. I want to make them know that I'm here.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I told you this, Nash, but me and Six were talking one day. I was going through something. I forgot what I was going through. But one day I was just sitting in my bed and I just felt like I didn't see anything, but I felt like something walked to me. and then I felt like something like held me, like I like not physically, but I felt like comforted. And then like I would see like random shadows and shit, and like I just felt comfortable talking to my roof, like on some weird like crazy sounding shit. I would just like talk openly in my room, just because it felt like someone was there listening who actually gave a shit. Like I do think there's something around us that we don't understand, whether it be God or some spirits or whatever the fuck. I do think there's something, but I just don't think humans currently, if ever, possess the ability to do it within life. After death, I do think that there's something along the lines of an afterlife, or I personally believe in reincarnation, but I do think everything's tied together by some type of force.
Yeah, what if it's like an afterlife until you want to reincarnate? You feel me?
I always found
Like you
the
can enjoy all that.
I
I
always
feel like
found
death is what you want it to be, type shit.
Could be.
I think it could be to an extent. That's could be why there's so many different religions that have so many different outlooks on what
Different
there
religions
is to
and
after life.
I mean I don't know, people could be capping, but like there have been different people that have like died like and came back to life and they say they see different things. Like some say they see God, some say they see hell, some say they see reincarnation, this and third. So it's just like I feel like afterlife is like whatever you think it is, whatever you want it to be.
I personally believe that life has all things. Like I've said before the recording started, I believe reality is completely infinite, and I believe the observation of reality is also infinite. I think reality couldn't exist if there was nothing to observe it. So therefore, life itself has to be infinite. Therefore, we have to be infinite, and obviously, our lives have an ending point. But I think it's simply this just carbon based fucking form. I think we will go on to either reincarnate or fucking quantum immortality or something different than just this being the closer. I don't think that makes sense. Like it I believe in reincarnation, and I believe that the bodies you reincarnate into, yeah, share the same consciousness, but are also different entities, if that makes sense. Like I guess you can look at it like Avatar, how you can talk to the previous avatars, yet they're still the same person type shit. That's the way I look at it.
I need to see
And
that new Avatar.
it's not the Avatar movie, it's the Avatar
Oh,
The Last Airbender.
oh, I never got
Yeah,
into
like
that show.
it's fire.
What?
I never got into
Where does the
Avatar.
chin start and the beard begin, bro?
Where does the chin start, bro?
Listen, bro.
And I guess to make a long story short, I do think we reincarnate, and I do think that there's like some form of a sphere realm, I guess, as we've all like alluded to. But I don't know how direct it is, or if it's a place where you actually can be, or you actually can travel through, or if there, it just, I feel like it's a medium more than a place, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
Like some type of binding force keeping everything in order. But yeah, nah, dude. I feel like in the conversation of like universes though, like going to like transferring your mind to a different universe, I don't get how you could have it like you shifting your mind into a different version of yourself, because what happens to the you of that other universe? Like, is their consciousness just effectively destroyed? Is it combined with yours now? Do y'all switch places? And if you switch places, you would see proof of it, because people are gonna be like, "Where the fuck am I? What's going on? I was just in my mansion and now I'm homeless. Like, what the fuck is happening?"
What if
Like,
they
you
just
would
send
see
in
that.
the NPCs, bro? Like,
But that still leaves the question of what happened to the original inhabitants of your body. Like, do they go to the body that you left?
what
Are they
if you don't
destroyed?
change at all? It's just like, the you that was conscious in this body just doesn't connect. 'Cause that's like saying, oh, I wonder what another universe me is like. It'll just be you. It'll just be a different you.
But it's still gonna be, yeah, it's effectively you, but it's a different entity. You feel me? Like it's not. You could put Universe One Nesh next to Universe Two Nesh. They're the same person, but they're different entities. You feel me?
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Like,
Yeah.
but if Universe One Nesh decides he wants to put his consciousness in Universe Two Nesh, what happens to Universe Two's consciousness? Is it destroyed? Is it combined? Do they just switch places? Like that's what I don't get about the proposition of shifting universes.
Well, as far as you know, you're the only one conscious.
I guess so, but still, like it's just I don't know. I
That
feel like
used to
it's
fuck me up for a really long time.
like being the chance of you being the only like real person.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought about that
That
too a
used
lot.
to fuck me up for the longest time.
I genuinely believed it in elementary school. Like, I was like, nobody's real. Like I can't control them. They're not real.
The only thing that made me think otherwise was I had the same conversation with my best friend in middle school, and he was like, dude, for all I know, like, I'm gonna close my eyes right now and go to sleep, and for all we know, I could fucking transport to like a different time, and you're just stuck here until you close your eyes and go to sleep and wake up at whatever time you do. Like, I have no idea that your reality is real. I'm just existing in my own fucking mental space. And I was like, I've been thinking the same thing for like 3 years now. We're like fucking 14 having this conversation.
Do you think everyone lives the same reality? Like, I guess that's a weird question.
One consciousness is everyone's reality. So like all three of us have like one person has lived our 3 lives type shit. Like,
No, that's a whole different conversation. What I mean is
Okay.
like,
because I was
what I
about
mean
to
is
say,
like,
bro, if we were Hitler in a past.
what I mean is like, do you think like in my eyes we're living the world like it is now? Like we're all just 21st century fucking slaves, but in Six's eyes we could be pirates on the high seas, and in your eyes we could be in fucking Star Wars. Like, do you think we're all on the same page? Because that's something we can't ever really prove.
Oh yeah, no, it goes back to that old saying, like, you never know like what somebody else is thinking or like feeling. Like, you'll never be able to tell besides what you know as fact for yourself.
Yeah, they're fucking. Now that you even brought up the egg theory, I like this. That's a really fucking good conversation. Do you think that's possible? Because at a
theory?
point in time, the egg theory, the all lives in one person,
Oh,
or I used to genuinely believe the theory, and I can't. Like, I still believe it's a possibility, but I don't believe in it anymore. But it's a really cool thing to think about, and it's almost sensical to me, at least. Like I could see it working. Like if the universe is there's a lot of people say life is the universe experiencing itself. If so, wouldn't it be logical for it to have, like, I guess, not one consciousness but like a central consciousness shifting throughout time? Because as we know, time isn't linear. Black holes distort time ridiculously. Like, we can tell, like, this shit doesn't make sense. So if life is the universe experiencing it, so it would be able to create one life, live that life, and then fucking create another one, but before that life. Like, it would be able to work, and then eventually it'd create a civilization of its previous lives interacting with each other. Like, it almost makes complete and total sense to me. Like, maybe we are just the universe, and maybe we are just one person, a hive mind at different points in time.
well, I've always believed the fact that like we are the universe to an extent, because it's one of those things like Neil deGrasse Tyson said it.
No, not really to an extent. We just are the universe.
Well, yeah, but also just hear me out to the extent of like the 5 core elements that make up a human are like oxygen, helium, nitrogen, carbon, and something else I can't remember. And then if you look at the universe, the 5 core elements of the universe are fucking carbon, nitrogen, helium, oxygen, and whatever the fucking other one is that I'm blanking on.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, to an extent, like we are the universe.
I feel like it really could be logical for if in some way there's like some function of the universe that we just don't know about that creates the
But that's how
consciousness.
it is, though.
Like I'm trying to like relate this, I guess, spiritual belief with science. Like maybe there's a process within even just the initial Big Bang that split off to create whatever the fucking force is of consciousness. Because even though we can tell what keeps us alive and what makes us able to live, we have no fucking clue what consciousness is. Consciousness on paper makes no fucking sense. There's no science to explain consciousness. Like the
We
fact
just
that,
are.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
nothing that can
it's
explain.
just there.
Yes, that's what's baffling. So maybe there, like, if we're gonna
I think
break
the
it down to
paradox
a
with that
science,
is I don't think consciousness was ever like supposed to be explained. Like how kind of like how nobody can figure out the universe, bro. Like it's not meant to be explained. We're just here. You feel me?
it's definitely possible to understand the universe if you have the
I
brain
don't think we'll
capacity
ever.
to do
There's a
so.
theory out there that if we ever do find out the true meaning of the universe, it just
It would just break human reality.
If we could, I'm a firm believer of any information is accessible if you're able to fucking process it. The universe definitely is infinitely complex as it is fucking drastically simple. If we were like a species with literal infinite brain capacity, it'd be possible to just, yeah, this is why this happens and that's why that happens. Like you could, in theory, create a simulation to fucking predict the future to 100% certainty. Like it's all down to mathematics. Like if I'm like, okay, there's a 30% chance that Nesh is gonna scratch his nose right now. I could, in theory, create a simulation to predict when and where he's actually gonna scratch his
I
nose.
was
Like,
scratching my head as you said that, so
simulation.
that's weird.
yeah, like it's in theory completely possible to create a completely predictive simulation. Like it's
Does that mean we're in a simulation?
very well could be. But I believe there's like something that happened in the universe that allowed consciousness to be possible. I don't think it was just life evolving or God creating life and consciousness was just able to happen. I think there was something much bigger that created it, and maybe that's the universe experiencing itself or something else. But I think the consciousness itself is tied to a universe. And I think if the universe died, even if we weren't in the universe at that time, there's a chance we could die too. I think we're kind of tied. This is us. This is our home. I think we really are the universe. But for simulations, though, I don't know. I don't think there's ever really any way to prove it. Like it, huh. Simulation theory is a weird one. I don't understand why people fear it though, because it doesn't make anything less real to us.
The thing that scared the fuck out of me about the simulation theory was I was literally on a double hit of acid. So I was on a half tab, but it was a double hit, so it was basically a full.
Yeah.
And I get on Twitter as everyone is fucking basically agreeing that this is now a meme. So I'm just watching everybody tweet out, "Oh yeah, if you're seeing this right now, this is fucking simulation. You were meant to see this. Haha, boo boo." Like, it's not some shit you want to see on acid.
Even then, like even as a kid, when I first heard of it, like it never scared me or like made me have an existential crisis. Like, cause I know a lot of people are like,
Oh, it didn't make
"But
me
we're
have
not
one. It was
real."
just more or less just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, definitely. But like, there's like so many people like that means we're not real. That means none of this matters. Who are the real people? Like, it who cares? This is real to us.
The
Like,
one that
it's
trips me
all
out
we
more
have.
than that is we could literally just be a fucking, like, back to the whole observable universe thing. Like, we don't know if it's beyond what's beyond that or anything. Like, for all we know, we could be a fucking failed science project from some alien, and we're just sitting in a glass jar, and that's the observable universe. Is just the edge of the glass jar. And
I think
the
one.
civilization outside of us is just so far advanced that literally a child
How
alien
y'all,
created a universe and was like, "That's not good enough."
how y'all
That
feel
is
about the
very well
firmament
possible.
theory?
The firmament.
Yeah.
I feel like that's completely illogical. It's tied into the flat Earth theory. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. No,
What I just said?
the firmament and flat Earth shit.
Oh,
And nothing that obviously, like we've said, there's very little that we actually understand, but what we do understand would not work in a flat Earth model. Plus, we have satellites.
oh
We
no,
have
shit's
space
not flat.
stations. There's no way there's a firmament. It just doesn't make sense. Like, and people are like, oh, like we have a we don't have satellites. Like, okay, why? How does your fucking phone work? How does your GPS working? Like, it doesn't make sense for there to be a big glass dome over the Earth. And if there is, why lie about it? Whoever really
This
knows,
isn't the
what's the
fucking
point?
Simpsons movie. Come on now.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, the government doesn't want you to know the Earth is flat and has a firmament. Okay, why? Tell me why they would. What would they gain from keeping that knowledge from us? If anything, they would gain more power by saying there's a firmament because there's less to wonder about. We're just stuck here and we have to listen to the government. Like, there's no reason to lie about that. I think
Might just be
Earth.
there waiting for the perfect time to say it, just like with the UFO shit. It's really fucking ironic and convenient that the time the U.S. government decides to admit, like, oh yeah, like, there's been UFOs and, like, not literal spacecraft, alien craft, but, like, shit that we literally can't fucking explain, and it's not possible that it happened. They announced that during COVID, where everybody was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about the declassification of a lot of those files, but I don't think they're fake. I think they were tactically released, though, definitely. I don't think they faked it, though. I do think the timing of release was to try to divert attention from like the riots and protests because of COVID. But I do think that those files are real, whether they be man-made ships or whatever, or just straight up fucking aliens or something else that we just don't understand. I do think that the majority, if not all, of those files that the Pentagon had are real. I think one of the scariest thoughts about fuck, what is that book? Holy shit. There was a book. I forgot the name of it. Really good fucking book. But it was basically humans were we just continued on a path of technological advancement. And we got to Mars and like all the rich people went to Mars and the poor people stayed on Earth because they couldn't afford to go to Mars, which is likely what happened now. But it incited a war because people were like, "Oh, Earth's oh damn, but yeah, Earth's resources were depleting, so they were like, hey, we need to go to Mars with y'all, blah blah." Blah. And the fucking humans on Mars were like, "Nah, you're too poor, blah blah." Blah. So it started a war, and the nuclear bombs and shit set off between planets was enough to alert another species of us, and they seen us as inferior because we were in their eyes primitive because we were a warring species. Even though it was a interplanetary war, it was still just pointless violence. So they saw us as less than sentient.
I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of zoned out. I thought you were talking about World War II for a second, where we were like dropping nukes on each other. But no, it's just like that's also like ironic. Like how come we're like World War II happens, and then immediately afterwards you have like Roswell, New Mexico, and all these other like alien things happening.
Yeah, that like, and back to that, but pretty much they were observing the conflict, and they deemed us as pretty much unworthy. They saw themselves as gods compared to us, and they were at such a level of technological advancement. They created different sectors of humans. They even created like humans who were still conscious, but made them into fucking bricks. So they were in complete agony while people walked all over them and shit. But it's just a weird thought to see, like, if there are aliens and shit out there that are observing us and seeing us war, what's being thought? Like, maybe that is true. Like, with COVID and all the rioting and shit, maybe they intercepted a signal and seen that, and they wanted to get a better look, or seen like the spike in nuclear radiation on Earth and decided to come, and that's why we had all those big fucking whatchamacallit, big sightings of UFOs that can't be explained in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And there's a lot.
It's also crazy, like how much like all that happened, and then how much life changed like 10, 15 years after all that. Like the microwave came about, like modern refrigeration, and like fucking all that shit, like television, like it just boomed after.
Very quickly. Very fucking quickly. I think we fucking went from planes to spaceships in the same time that we went from the printing press to some other, the automobile or something.
We went from planes to spaceships in basically the same time. We went from a fucking one-cylinder car to the first inline fucking four being created.
Like, it's kind of wild. Like, we have to keep into account that the fucking Wright brothers flew in like the 1910s, 1920s, I think.
And then what's even crazier than that, like literally in the almost same span of time, it feels like we went from not being able to reuse spacecraft to literally being able to fucking send a rocket to space, have it land, and send it back and do it again.
It's kind of crazy. And honestly, bro, I guess this is a more out there, not belief, but thought that I have. But you heard about like all those fucking politicians, like in like I think it was like 2019-ish. There was one politician, I think he was Israeli, but he died, and like one of his last like statements was, "There's a galactic federation." And then after he died, there was other politicians from different countries who said things about a galactic federation, and they described like aliens that are members of it. And like, I don't particularly believe that's true, but if it is, it could explain how there's such crazy advancements in technology. Like, maybe fucking if there was like a galactic federation who saw like Earth as a young species who's starting to come up, and they wanted to like give a guiding hand to help us evolve, they would probably baby feed us technology very slowly. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, here's a plane, here's a spaceship, da, 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 da. Like, I feel like it would honestly make sense. Like, if I saw a species like humans as an advanced race, I would be interested in guiding them to not become an enemy of mine.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I would definitely be like, all right, they're at a lower point. Hey, I'll teach you guys some fucking tech, give you some materials, blah, 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 just to make sure we're on the same page for when the point that they actually leave their planet and do some other shit. So, like, it makes sense, kind of.
An issue with that though would be like if I was a part of a alien species like that, an alien race, superior alien race, and I saw another alien race like humans, just the example that I'm trying to convey. I'm fucking baked, sorry.
Mm.
Uh I wouldn't want to help a civilization or a species or race that literally nitpicks and breaks down their own race into different races by like skin color and shit like that. Like, you don't have your shit together. We don't work together as like a full civilization. We just like have our own independent nations, try to function as those, and those fucking fail. When like it would
Yeah,
be so easy, like UBI possibly could work, but at the same time, it's not even about like UBI. It's about fucking just being able to actually stop the bullshit and realize that we as a species just need to fucking get our shit together and actually try to survive and live. So
that's a good point.
it is possible that some species is like, hey, this could help them, but if they're that advanced to be able to look at us and help us out, I think they're also advanced enough to go, no, these are literal degenerate monkeys.
That's a good point. I feel like that could explain, like, if there is some benevolent advanced race who's giving a guiding hand to us. I feel like that could explain why it's not known. Like maybe that's why. Like if I was in the same position and I already decided that I wanted to help this inferior species, and I would definitely start slowly. I would give their leaders technology to like, hey, say fucking some random scientist thought this up, blah 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 blah, and slowly nitpick shit, and then eventually get to the point where I told them to, hey, give release some documents talking about UFOs and this, that, and the third. Eventually, get to
Sorry,
the point
excuse me.
where aliens are seen as a normal thing. To the point where whenever I feel comfortable with making myself known to the general public and actually inducting them as a part of a greater society, there'd be minimal blowback. But at the same token, like you said, what's the fucking point? Like if they are that advanced, they could do this shit without us. Unless there's like some fucking war or something where the like numbers are vital, it wouldn't make sense. Ooh, unless they were just unless there's like some like religious or something, some religious thing or something that they feel that they need to do to help species progress. I think there would have to be like a war or some other calamity that they would want to prepare all sentient life for.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This shit is so like deep and confusing, and there's so many questions that just there's no answers, and it just leads to more and more questions, and there's so many rabbit holes that you can go down, but nothing gives you a straight fucking answer to anything.
That was a good point. All we can do is wonder. I don't know. I feel like the truth is, not to be corny, much stranger than any fucking fiction that we've ever created. Whatever is true about this reality, I think everyone is like, what the fuck, bro? Turns out we die and we're just in a giant fucking sitcom.
Credits roll. Shit, fucking laugh track and title screen and credits song.
You're in your deathbed, dying of cancer with your whole family around you. And
Just
as you're
hear
closing your eyes, roll credits. Like I would.
Do you think you're gonna die to In the Arms of an Angel? No, you're dying to fucking Weird Al Yankovic. No
You die.
disrespect to Weird Al. I love Weird Al's music.
if there's an afterlife and I die before y'all, I'm gonna wait until as soon as I see you
It's
guys
just me
appear
and you
there,
in this bitch. 6
kicking
left.
you. Oh yeah, that's a good point. There's an afterlife and I die before you. I'm gonna wait however long it takes for you to come, and I'm going to immediately kick you in the balls.
Oh my god.
While you are so fucking confused as to what happened, am I dead? What's going on? I'm just gonna kick you in the balls.
You know, it's kind of funny. Like, me and you have similar like interests and go down similar rabbit holes and shit. Do you like? I know you don't really follow religion or like have uh, faith in religion yourself, but you study religion and look at religion and learn from religion, right?
Yeah,
You know what Judaism says about masturbation?
I actually don't.
Females can. It basically doesn't say anything about females. Females can masturbate all they fucking want. But for males, every time you ejaculate, it says, or every time you masturbate, it says in. There's like a couple of Jewish textbooks, and I know I'm getting a bunch of shit wrong, and I hope nobody fucking criticizes me. There's probably gonna be some Jewish person watching this being like, well, technically, and please, for the love of God, actually do that. Like, educate me because I'm a fucking dumb ape, like I said earlier. It says they say that there's actually a demon woman that comes and rides you while you fornicate, and when you ejaculate, you're coming inside of her and impregnating her. So whenever you pass, you have to first meet your children, half demon children, before you're allowed into heaven.
I got a lot of kids.
Fuck yeah.
Shit, I hope she's not asking for child support.
I was watching the comedian Ari Shafir, and he was like, I just like to imagine mine's a Latina woman. I die, go down, have to meet her, and she's like, oh, hello, Mr. Ari. Your children are here. You must meet them. And one just screams in the back, Daddy's here. And thousands of little demon humans.
Holy shit! If that's true, that's gonna be
Bro, it'd be so fucked.
quite the family reunion.
You get allowed into heaven, you meet your fucking family, and you're just like, what?
I want to, bro. It would be really cool to like die and be able to meet your entire lineage. I feel like that'd be pretty sick. Like being able to see like the first person who like differentiated from the first humans to create your bloodline. Like that'd be really sick. Seeing them all the way through fucking major events in history up until the point where it's like your grandma or something. Like that'd be really cool.
I would.
I feel like I would see like one of my ancestors who was a slave. Like for a lot of time with some white bitches, huh?
You goddamn right.
What do you think about God? Or do you believe in a God or some version of a God?
No, I don't. I think that, hold on. I think that, it is possible that there might be some entity or higher power looking over everything, and like, I believe more that the Big Bang happened versus God just kind of like sneezed and farted a little bit and the fucking universe was born, or whatever Christianity says happened.
Valid, valid.
So I don't know, like it. Going back to the religion thing we were talking about earlier, and like how there's so many different ones that all say different shit about the afterlife. Like, who's to say like Christianity isn't right and like God is real and Jesus is the Messiah? Or who's to say that Islam isn't right and that God is Allah and Muhammad isn't the fucking prophet, and who's to say that the Jews are right, and that I think Christianity and Judaism share the same God. I could be wrong, but I know
Yeah.
Judaism doesn't have a prophet yet, so who's to say that isn't right? Or who's to say that the fucking, like, flying spaghetti monster isn't real? Like, fuck Scientology. Those dudes are fucking wackos, but
Strange individuals indeed.
yeah, like, to your reincarnation thing, like, who's to say, like, India isn't wrong, and, like, or India's wrong, and, like, fucking Hindu isn't true, but, like, fucking, what if that is true and we do get reincarnated as fucking cows after we die?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, look at it. I can't imagine myself or anything being at the point of all powerfulness and needing worship. Like I think most religions on earth are much too human. You know, like I feel like there's
Oh yeah, that's
too much of a human spin.
that's why, like, to fully answer your question, that really wasn't your question. I do kind of fall into the category of agnostic, where, like, whatever religious power or higher power there is, it shouldn't be upset that I am just doing the one sole purpose of life, which is just to attempt to live it to its fullest and my best abilities.
Exactly. Like I feel like I am. I would consider myself a non-religious theist. Like I don't believe in any conventional religion. I believe that there is some form of higher power or force, but I believe it to be completely neutral in terms of life, almost completely neutral. I feel like if there is some sort of moral code, it's pretty much don't fucking hurt people. Like that'd be it.
Yeah,
Like don't
basically.
do shit that you wouldn't want done to you. I don't think that there's you must worship me, you must do this. That's where human control and fucking influence comes in. If I was a god, I don't give a fuck what a bunch of hairless monkeys think.
Yeah.
Why do I care if you build a church in my honor? Like it just doesn't make sense. What does that do for me?
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking nothing. Like it, I feel like if like the God that I believe in, he's or it because I don't even think it possesses a gender. I think
Yeah.
it's just there observing and creating. Maybe it's a scientist for its species or something. I don't fucking know, but I do think there's something beyond us. But I don't think it considers itself its our superior more than just creator or observer type shit.
Yeah. I see that being a possibility. I don't know. I don't I on my when I was younger, when I still, like, saw my mom and my mom's side of the family, like, my grandfather, my realistically he was my step grandfather, but by all means he was my actual fucking grandfather. He was religious, and he made us go to church whenever we went up to the country property on the weekends. So I experienced church for what it was, and I appreciate church for what it is. Like, that was actually a really interesting church, because it was in Normandy, Texas, halfway in between Houston and Dallas, middle of fucking nowhere, ran by Filipinos, and they were the nicest fucking people on the planet. Like,
That's nice.
there was one day, like, my dad came up to the property, and, it's Sunday, everybody's got to go to fucking church, so we all go to church, and my dad, like, didn't have anything nice, so he just, like, Pawpaw and my grandfather just threw him, like, a pair of overalls and a pair of work boots and, like, a t-shirt for underneath it. And my dad walks in, and he's like, I'm sorry, sir, like, I'm sorry, father, to the pastor. He's like, I'm sorry, father, that this is the way I came. Like, I wasn't expecting you to go to church, I wasn't planning on it, but we showed up anyways. Motherfucker spoke for 2 hours straight about it doesn't matter the clothes on your back, it doesn't matter what you wear, it matters who you are and what you are. So that side of church is what I like and what I experienced through church. But on the flip side, I've also gone to these insane mega churches where, you know, that church, it was fucking like 50 people on a good Sunday in there. You feel like it was usually 20, 30 of us in there.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I've also gone to a fucking mega church where it's like 3,000, 4,000 people in there, and you just can't help but to like think like, this is a fucking cult.
Yeah.
Like, we're all gonna fucking join hands and bow our heads and sing a fucking song of praise. Like, no.
Yeah, dude. I My problem with conventional religion is it just feels fuck. That's the bit. Like, if you look at any point in 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 how religion was used previously before, like, I guess we got more of a semblance of freedom. It feels like every step conventional religion is it's perfect for control. Like, if you create a bunch of things that would benefit your civilization, like the Roman Catholic Church did, and burning down the Library of Alexandria to manipulate Christian and I think Judaism books to say what you want them to say. It's super easy to say, hey, don't be gay. And why would a religion want you to not be gay? Because it doesn't provide to the fucking doesn't provide to the population, then that would in turn make future generations of that kingdom weaker. Sloth is a sin. You wouldn't want a bunch of lazy peasants working under you. So let's say it's a sin. Make them fear hell after death, because if they're a sloth, they don't want to work in your armies. They don't want to work in your shops. They don't want to hunt for you. Like, it's like it works too well for a human. Everything is too perfect for a human. Give money to your churches that would then, back in the Roman Catholic times, would fucking just go directly to the fucking government, and a lot of places still here just go directly to the government. Like, everything just it worked too
to
well.
the government or goes straight into the pastor's pockets.
Yeah, dude. Like,
I
it
mean,
just
like,
worked too well.
For those that like don't know this channel, or like this is the first episode you're seeing of this or anything, first off, you should stick around and like subscribe. It's really entertaining here in NABEKIA.
Oh yeah.
We live in Houston, so we have a pastor by the name of Joel Osteen here, and one of the things that pisses me off the most about him is that Joel Osteen has a yacht that is called SS Blessed.
I actually didn't know that.
Yes. So
That's
it's just
interesting.
one of those things, like you're the yeah, like I just said, we're from Houston, so we have a very wide culture of music, country, rock, hip hop. It all spans here. It all lives here. It all thrives here. Have you ever listened to "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked" by Cage the Elephant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like what he says in that song at the final verse about the pastor, where he turns on the TV, flips it over the news, and he's talking about the church pastor stealing money from the church and putting it in his own pocket and bank account, stuffing his bank with the righteous dollar bill. Like, that shit's very real. That shit happens all the fucking time, and it's disgusting.
It's horrible. It's just like religion works too well to manipulate the masses, and I think that it's sad because a lot of people will really give their all to it, and that's not to say like, oh, you're dumb for believing in religion, because like I said, I myself am a theist. I believe in a God. I just don't see a God functioning in the way that it would be beneficial to the top 1% of humans as it is now. Because like you said, like, I personally, when I went to church, I went to church in North Carolina with my mom whenever she was stationed out there for a little bit. And it was a beautiful experience. It was a really good community. It was nice, but it was impoverished. Everyone was a community giving to each other. The preacher didn't really care to take anything. there's those out there, yeah. But if you look at the roots of it all, whenever it was mandated by the government, people were killed over it, shit like that. Like it just doesn't click in my head for an actual God to mandate this. Like just to give one person the power to do something because they said, "Hey, God
It
told me
makes
that
zero
you have
sense.
to worship me." Yeah, like it just doesn't click in my head. Like, yep,
The Pope.
don't be gay, don't do that. Yep, God said it though, so don't question me. God said it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like the Pope. Like, who the fuck? Like, you really think you're the voice of God? And like, I understand, and like, I'm not trying to shit on religion in any way, shape, or form, but at the same time, I really am at this, like, but it just
yeah,
doesn't make sense. Like,
my biggest point is to like find your own belief. Like, you
yeah,
don't have to be an atheist. I'm not an atheist. I used to be. What drove me to atheism was just like this conversation here. I said, "Oh, no God could exist because of this," and through life experience, I felt like there was a God, but not in any conventional religious sense. So it's okay to say like, "Hey, yeah, no, I believe in God, but like I don't want to go to church or even still go to church. Like, yeah, I do believe in the Christian God, but I don't believe the Christian God did that. I don't think the Christian God would want me to give all my money to just the preacher so he can buy a fucking Rolex. Like, that's completely fine and logical. I just hate the control aspect, and I don't think any merciful God would do this. Especially like the amount of people who died, the blood wars that were fucking shit, the blood that was shed over fucking Judaism and Islam and Christianity, the religious crusades that were just fucking disgusting, perpetrated by the Roman Catholic medieval times. Like, it's crazy. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It just cannot click in my brain for it to happen. Any more shinies? Damn.
yeah. For those watching on YouTube, if for some reason you're watching this and have video on and you're not just listening in the background, and for those also listening in the background, I guess, we're currently also playing a Roblox game in the background, just
Yeah,
to pass time. It's mind numbing. It's actually pretty fun.
this is a pretty cool game.
So, speaking on that really quick before we get back to a different topic, even though we don't have a topic list, do you see that little information book above your money?
Yeah,
Does it have like a exclamation mark on it?
I think it did. I just clicked on it though. Oh
Click on,
shit,
yeah,
claim.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my fuck, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just
knew
another
that.
thing. Here, entertain the stream really quick. I'm gonna go grab my ice cream. I got some dips or whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember the little hard shelled ice cream bites.
All right. I want you guys to, I want you guys to let us know what you think in the comments. 'Cause I think we covered a lot of pretty interesting topics. Also, I want you guys to remember this isn't to bash on anyone or anyone feel uncomfortable or invalidate anything. It's merely our personal.
What did I
It's
join?
just us talking about what we think. I don't want anybody to think that we're telling you what to think, and if you don't think like us, you're wrong. That's not what's going on. My biggest thing is personal freedom.
Oh
So
yeah, no. If you're listening to this, you better be a fucking free thinker, just like we are.
yeah, I was just saying like to everybody like don't think like we're telling you what to think. Like it's just us saying what we think. My biggest thing is personal freedom type shit. Like don't fucking walk away thinking like oh they told us that we had to think this. Like nah, you know. Nah, dude. I feel like society is just completely fucking flawed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just burnt this shit. Like you could say like, no, the system was designed to be like this. I don't even think that. I think everything, even in the terms of the fucking 1%ers, is just fucked up. Like we're all just in some big fucking melting pot, and we're getting to the point
Hold
where
on,
it's
hold
gonna.
on, hold on, hold on.
Doodly doodly doo.
All right, sorry about that. My dad listens to the police scanner, and somebody's fucking uh trying to jump off the highway right now.
That doesn't sound very pleasant.
No, it was even more fucked up. Somebody just jumped off of it like not even a year ago. It's the same spot.
Shit's cursed.
Fucking Beltway 249. You cutting out?
I was about to make a joke, and I said, nah,
Fuck it, go ahead, do it.
nah, there's a person actively up there. I could. If he walks away, I'll make a joke somewhere.
If they walk away, I'll make the joke.
Yeah. Can't in good conscience make it right now. What do you think the future of humanity looks like?
I don't know, but if it makes you feel any better, they're not in good conscience right now either.
That's a good point. That's a very good.
It's a fucking joke, obviously. Calm down.
Indeed a joke.
No, I hope that person. I hope they don't. You know, I hope they're okay.
Hopefully someone gets through
Yeah.
them. I feel you. I have a lot of faith. Oh,
Now the last person that did it, that shit was crazy. Cause that motherfucker hit somebody on the road, killed them, and then got out of the car, ran up onto the ramp for Beltway East. You know what I'm talking about? That big ass fucking ramp. and right at the top of it, fucking stayed there, like right at the apex of the fucking ramp for like 20-30 minutes arguing with the cops, and then right whenever they went to go like bum rush him to like help him and save him, he fucking jumped.
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Some people are just fucked up.
Sad thing. Very sad thing. Very fucking sad. Wrapped gift box.
You want to find a different one to play for a little bit?
Sure. That's fun, but it kind of ran its course.
Yep.
The fuck? Steel Roblox games to play. Booga Booga Reborn. Gladiator Tycoon. Fat Simulator. Dig to Ohio. Fly on Dragons?
What'd you say?
I saw a game that said something about flying on dragons, and it made me say yes.
Nice. Well, for the most part, I think that's NABEKIA.
I think we did a good little podcast.
Like we said throughout the video, if you enjoyed, I hope you stick around, subscribe. There will for sure be more episodes of this coming soon. And yeah.